Now, all of the leaks for My Hero Academia Chapter 284 just dropped today, and honestly the most important one for me out of all of them is Afro Deku. Good morning, pizza people. I'm usually used to doing a chapter explained on My Hero Academia every week around this time, but simply due to the fact that the chapter leaks have not been explained yet, I have to break down the leaks instead. So forgive me for that. A chapter explained will come in the next 2 days whenever the chapter drops. But until then, please deal with the explained of the leaks. So without further ado, let's get into chapter 284 because a lot happens and I want to break down the highlights because it's hella important. So the first highlight of the chapters is that it still continues off on the fact that Deku is still 1v1ing with Shigaraki on pure rage, okay? Like, just, you know, like how he has been the past few weeks, bro. Like, Deku is honestly starting to get the upper hand on Shigaraki, and he's hella angry about it, okay? Like, Deku versus Shigaraki, like, I didn't expect Deku to be on even ground with Shigaraki at this point, but, like, due to the fact that Deku is so angry at this point, he's pushing his, like, one for all to, like, that absolute max limit on his body, bro. Like, he's just going so far deep into this one for all stuff that he actually ends up, like, almost permanently damaging his left arm in this fight. Like, he's damaging it to the point where he used to back in, like, the earlier parts of the series, where if he used it too much, like, he wouldn't be able to use it again. And he's using 100% for, like, one for all on his, like, arms and his whole body. So this might have some lasting effects, but we really just gotta see, bro. Like, Deku is, like, raging so hard through one for all that it's really tearing him up. So for right now, pizza people, I would honestly expect, like, after this fight that Deku might or might not have a left arm. Okay, that's just something to look out for, and like his left arm might be his weak point going on throughout the series from this point on going forward. This is something to remember because you know how HORIKOSHI likes to drop in small little things here and there. On to the next highlight of chapter is the fact that during this battle between Deku and Shigaraki, we take some time to cut out 2 flashbacks, okay? I'm gonna start with the first flashback, and it's the fact that Deku this whole time has been prepared to use float, okay? Like, Deku knew float was coming. Like, Deku did do some training to learn how to use float. How did he do that, you ask? Uraraka, okay? Like, he was already prepared for it. He knew this was gonna be the next one he was gonna unlock. So, for those of you that were out there saying, like, when Deku unlocks float, he's gonna have to do a lot of training with Uraraka, well, basically, that training is already done, so we don't have to go through that. And it's honestly kind of cool to see the fact that Deku was, like, pre-preparing for this, like, knowing, like, as soon as he unlocks float, he doesn't want to have to waste no time on, like, any training wheels, because he knows, like, when he unlocks it, it's gonna be at a hella important moment, so he wants to, like, get it and just start moving with it immediately, okay? And that's honestly dope to me, bro, because I feel like a lot of the times with how many shonen battles and, like, how much Deku has been fighting throughout the series, that maybe a lot of fans forget, like, how smart and how prepared Deku is, bro. Like, when we met Deku, he was one of those students that were always prepared and always knowledgeable and always making sure he's ready for the next task. And I'm glad that Horikoshi is still including that within this chapter. It's hella important to Deku's character, and I'm really glad it's not being forgotten. And also, you know how Deku was using Black Whip a lot better? Well, he did a lot of training with Tape Guy, Sarah, or whatever. So, Deku has been training. He has been going through hell to make sure that he unlocks these next quirks. And when he uses them, he's going to use them well. It's going to be hella interesting to see, like, when he gets his next few quirks from the other one for all users, if he's going to figure out how, like, if he already knows what they are and if he's already been preparing for them all this time. Like, that we just didn't see it yet. And we're going to wait till we get a flashback later on. And also during this chapter, right, we get Afro Deku, okay? And it's because it's funny, bro. This is definitely gonna be the thumbnail of this video, but we get Afro Deku, and it's because of the fact that he was playing with Bakugo or whatever, right? And Bakugo blasted him, and so I guess that gives Deku Afro hair when they were training to use Black Whip. And I guess, you know, as a punishment, Bakugo blasted him because he messed up or whatever in a joking way. You know how that little friendship is going. I'm honestly liking the way that it's blooming bit by bit, and we're getting to see pieces with it. Like, we don't have to have it said, like, straight out yet, bro. And I love seeing it. But as we transition into talking about Bakugo, right? Also want to drop in small little hints of the leaks I've been seeing here and there is the fact that Bakugo is genuinely worried about Deku and the fact that he's raging and pushing his body so far in order to fight with Shigaraki, okay? Like, honestly, I know these past few chapters that, like, Bakugo has been sitting out, and it's honestly been kind of annoying to me, and it's almost felt like a contradiction of his character almost. But I'm glad that we're actually seeing the fact that, like, Bakugo is changing. He's thinking a lot more in battle. Like, he's honestly a great tactician with this. But like, Bakugo's genuinely worried about the fact that Deku is pushing himself way too far. So if Deku keeps getting angry and angry and he keeps fighting, like, we might have to get a moment from Bakugo next week in chapter 285 where Bakugo is gonna be the one to save Deku and snap him out of this rage state if he keeps going as far, because eventually Deku's body is gonna shut down, bro. Like, he's not fully developed. Just like Shigaraki is at 75%, Deku isn't even near anywhere that percent with his body to keep pushing it the way he has been these past couple of weeks, bro. Like, eventually Deku is gonna short fuse, bro, and somebody's gonna have to get him out of that situation. And I'm glad Bakugo's on the sidelines to do just that when the moment is right. And another transition in the Bakugo, okay, is the fact that Bakugo is another huge part of this chapter, because you guys remember that book that All Might made when he was talking about the fact that there are all these other one-for-all users and their quirks and everything that Deku's gonna unlock in the future, right? Well, Bakugo also read that book or whatever, and he was in that small little meeting between Deku and All Might, and All Might and Bakugo got to have a little side conversation by themselves, like, after that, and Bakugo basically was looking at it, and it was the fact that the fourth all-for-one user is crossed out, okay? So, honestly, I already know this is gonna lead to a lot of theories. Like, people are already plotting on the timeline talking about it's that white-haired guy that we saw when we saw all the other one-for-all users, and, like, what happened to him. Like, a lot of information is missing on him basically, and Bakugo is basically like hella like intuitive on that, right? Because he feels like All Might is hiding something, so he's already a little bit suspicious about, like, what All Might has going right now. And Bakugo really wants to know who, like, maybe All Might told him in this chapter, but as far as I've seen that All Might, the chapter basically ends on that. All Might didn't tell him anything regarding, like, why the fourth one for all users crossed out. Like, maybe, like, this is a dark secret that All Might himself is having. This might lead a little bit of a conflict between, like, Deku and Bakugo versus All Might. It's gonna have a little bit of an argument happen. Like, this can go a lot of different ways, okay? Because we don't know a lot about the other one for all users, of course, from the other than the fact that they died, and we only know, like, two of their quirks, and that's Float and Black Whip, and we've already got those unlocked. So there's a lot of information missing that we really need to find out, okay? And Bakugo is probably going to be the one to unlock that and find that out, because Bakugo himself has been researching and looking for the other one for information on the other one for all users. So I'm glad he's becoming a whole part of this little, like, group in order to investigate one for all and learn a lot more about the quirk, because I feel like he's gonna be hella important in the future. Like, people are saying this might be a little bit of a time travel theory where Bakugo might be the fourth one for all users that he's researching that's been crossed out, and All Might is hiding that from him for a certain reason, one way or another. And if you guys remember in the My Hero movie or whatever, Deku did share one for all with Bakugo, and one for all ultimately did come back to Deku in the end, but we still don't know if that movie is fully canon. Well, at least I don't know, okay? So the fourth user just may very well be Bakugo, and he doesn't, and All Might doesn't want Bakugo to remember that experience because it could, I don't know, mess things up or whatever. But I don't know, it's all speculation right now, pizza people, and I'm really just a pizza that talks about anime and manga, so what the hell do I really know? And that's all the information I really have for you right now regarding leaks. Once again, I'm sorry that I don't have that explained out right now. The translations aren't out, so I can't provide that to you till maybe even Saturday or Friday, but when I can get the explained of the full chapter out to you guys, I will. So until next time, pizza people, my name is Tine Pizza. I have a lot more My Hero content if you're checking me out for the first time, and I will provide a lot more in the next coming days. So until next time, my name is Tine Pizza, and I will see you pizza people later. We move.